Okay, good morning, Chair, board members, Madam CEO, staff, and members of the public. I'll just remind everyone to please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices for the entire meeting. If you're a presenter or speaking as a board member, please speak directly and loudly into the microphone. Also ensure the light is on. The light on the microphone is green when speaking. Appreciate your cooperation. Chair, there are 3 members of the public wishing to provide comments. Reverend Bernadette Logan, items 5 and 6. Can you please?
I'm going to go to the mic stand.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, board, chair, staff, and members of the public. My name is Reverend Bernadette Logan, and I've been working with Niger for many, many years. And today I'm looking over items 5 and 6 that specifically deal with healthy homes. And when I looked over the items about lead-based and abatement, unlimited lead-based paint, and it kind of brought to my curiosity of why these services was not offered to the FHA homes. So I'm looking over these items today and just trying to present some questions to the board regarding where we are with the FHA homes and how things have started. I presented to each of you a letter in regards to our stand, in regards to what's going on. I'm going to briefly read it and kind of give you a summary. My name is Reverend Bernadette Logan. I have been very instrumental in working with the real estate department and FHA Residents Association in pursuing FHA homes during the transfer period of 2012 and 2015. Does anybody remember that time period? I know Victor does. Victor has journeyed through with us regarding the properties in the homes. So today I'm asking for a request. I'm making a request that after many, many years of being in the homes, there's been about 10 to 15 seniors that have passed away. And because of that, their homes have now been transferred back to Niger. So that's question number 1. I want to find out where those homes have been transferred to. The second thing is just like 30 more families that are in the Niger properties, and that one includes myself, which we are asking and making a request. The lien was for 15 years. I'm asking, making a request based on this letter, if you can modify the lien. If there's any way that you can reduce the lien to 10 years, okay, and based on this information here, simply because a lot of us, including Reverend Sanders, are getting older, amen, and that's a part of growing in life. But also, we're having some challenges regarding our homes and trying to modify our buildings, and also trying to ask Niger to be complimentary in working with us in modifying the lien. I have 2 attorneys working with me, and they said the modification can be done with parties in agreement. So I'm coming today to ask the real estate office, the legal attorney office, to have a conversation, that we can have a discussion. Also, I've been trying for the last 2 years, absolutely physically 2 years, to try to reach your real estate office. There's no response. I've tried absolutely 2 years to try to reach your legal department, and there's no response. I've sent letters, I've made phone calls. What happens is that, and I think you all know, the phone gets channeled all through the system. And then the people who were in the office is no longer here. So you can't reach that person. Today, my request is I will physically be able to see a real estate developer, a real estate agent, or a legal person, an attorney of Niger, so that I can discuss these concerns. Okay, as well as that, because we're not able to get a lien on the property, refuses us to get any type of refinancing. So we can't do any refinancing on our property. And there was about 5 to 10 members that I've spoken to that wants to get refinanced because of many reasons. Okay, we can no longer go up the steps. We need to modify our bathrooms. We need to modify our bedrooms. So we're asking Niger to please consider reducing the lien so that we can get refinancing on our property. Not only that, I called yesterday through the foundation, and they said they can offer Niger residents a loan that would be against a lien of our property, and of any amount, and then it would be grant, meaning that we don't have to pay it back. Okay, so I made many options to kind of work with you guys to see how we can get this resolved. And not only that, there are families who went through the process with me in 2013 that were stuck in the process, kind of red tape, so to speak. They went as far as trying to get their homes, trying to get their properties, and they were not able to go through. So I included in your letters the 39 homes that was released from the trust fund, and there are 35 names of homes of families who have not been released to the trust. I'm asking a lot today because I'm on the move. And based on you having a meeting with those families, first of all, the first group is myself. I've already obtained my home. I'm in the process of getting the lien reduced in 5 years. I don't want to wait 5 years. Okay, by the grace of God. And the second group is the families who are in the homes that need renovations and need repairs and have got stuck in the red tape. And the third group are those families that are needing to have their names added to the deed. So there's a process. And the third sheet, I gave a breakdown. Come on, I'm thorough. The third sheet, I don't know if you got that sheet. Some of you may have got it. That indicates the steps on how we can modify the lien, okay, through our attorneys, and how you can meet with the families who need to obtain their homes. And then if I can get a name and a number of a person in the real estate office that we can begin our conversation with, that's what I'm really asking for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you, Reverend Logan. I appreciate you coming forward, and I appreciate all of this information that we will certainly read. I just want to make sure that we have a contact phone number and email address for you.
Okay.
I don't see it
No, it's not. I
in
didn't put it on
here.
the top, sorry.
But
give that to
maybe,
you?
yeah, if you wanna,
Mhm.
I can give you a pen, if you just wanna write it
Okay.
down.
Okay,
We'll make sure, you have a lot of questions and they're all very good ones. But I wanna make sure that I speak to our legal department.
and someone is
and
here.
to our real
And what
estate.
is your name?
That's David Rody, he's our general
Oh, I
counsel.
gave you a letter. Didn't I give you a letter?
So, no, but I appreciate your thoughtfulness.
Yes, and I wanted everybody to be alert, because when you put things in writing in Niger, and I've worked with you for 10 years, I get a response. If you don't put it in writing, you don't get a response. But you get more of a response when you come to the mic. So I'm really looking forward to the
100%.
response.
So if you can just make sure that we have your phone number
Okay,
and your email address, that would be super.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. How many of you are aware of the project? Anybody?
I mean, I'm aware of FHA homes, and it's certainly one of the more operational challenges that we have here at NYCHA, because they're single family and multifamily homes, which is very different than the rest of our portfolio.
That's correct. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, terrific. Thank you, Reverend. Our second speaker is Reverend Saunders, also speaking on items 5 and 6. Would you like the microphone, or are you going to walk to the podium?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is May Sanders, and I'm here to see what you can do for me. Amen. I'm so used to talking to church in church, so it's in me. But I've been in Nigeria home for about 45 years. Okay, about 45 years. And I would like to own my home that I'm in. I had a lot going on in my home since I've been in that particular house. I've lost one son due to I didn't have a boiler in my house. He caught pneumonia. And it's a lot went on that I can't explain everything today. I just need your help. I need my house. I've been in this house. My baby was 5 years old when I moved in. Now she's 52. And I think I'm entitled to that home.
Thank you so much. And could we work through the Reverend to talk to you? And
Yes,
if
I can.
not,
Yes, I can.
we would love your contact information, also your address.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Reverend Saunders.
Thank you. We started out together in 2012, and we were together, and because of the stipulations at the Reese office and paperwork and documents, there were a lot of glitches and a lot of holdups and red tape that prevented quite a few of the families from getting the homes. Thank you.
Thank you both. We'll move on to a third and final speaker, Rosemary Hammond, who would like to make comments on item 1. Ms. Hamid, could you step up?
Good day. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I chose item 1 based on the fact that it says insurance liability. I'm really here to discuss the fact that I live on block 351, lot 1. I'm pretty sure that you'll know exactly where that is, but it's Seward Park Extension. They just put scaffolding up and they left exposed wires. Now this is a third party, has nothing to do with the groundskeepers, okay? That's a liability, all right? Because if anybody gets hurt, then it could be one of the tenants. Another thing is that there is a difference between residents and tenants. I'm a tenant. I've been there close to 30 years or a little after 30 years. I raised 8 children. The police never came knocking on my door because I took care of my children. I made sure that I was home doing what I had to do to take care of my children, to keep them safe, to keep myself safe, all right? The last time the scaffolding went up and they were going through the process of asbestos abatement, I tried to explain to people that abatement means that they made a deal. We weren't a part of that deal, okay? They come, they're not making any repairs in the apartments, okay? There is total sabotage going on with these third parties. I do not know who approves these contracts, and I do not care to know. All I know is that I'm living within the results of the mistakes that are being made through this real estate mongrel here. And I'm gonna say it like it is. A lot of people see me and they think that, oh, she looks like a homeless person. No, it's not that. There's plenty of times that I come back to the building and the elevators are not working, or there's only one working, and during COVID, I don't wanna ride an elevator with 10 people. There should be a limit. The elevators should be working all the time, okay? There are things that are happening in our development between 154 Broome and 64 Essex Street that I just say, wait a minute. We're not safe, okay? And via the third parties that come in and these dark orgs that come out and say, we're here to help you in the name of Jesus, that's starting to get on my nerves because I'm an American Muslim woman, okay? And I'm gonna come out and say straight out, I understand that we have Christians, that we have Jewish folks, that we have every class of religion. But please, as a Muslim, I did not appreciate that when they painted the hallway in my floor, they used some paint and they took all of my religious stuff off of the door And then later on, a week later, they threw it in front of the building. You do not take sacred words and throw them on the floor. Okay? That was a disrespect all the way right there and then. Okay? Now, I want everybody here to understand that I'm coming here basically to point out how important it is for all of us to be safe. That includes you. Okay? There's a lot of changes going on in this world right now that's affecting us all. So please, bear in mind that we still have Homo sapiens living in the building. We're human. We bleed, we cry. We suffer just the same way you do when you lose a member of your family. All of us should be thinking about the next person next to them. I want safety for all. That includes even the people that are overworked, the groundskeepers. They're doing their job as much as they can. But the community, they're dealing with the community garbage. So they'll come and do their job, and then another .org comes along and dumps their garbage there. And then the bottle folks that rip the garbage bags open, and there's a rat infestation. There's so much going on that I just come out and say, never mind the bird flu. What about the rat flu? What about all the other stuff? We have an infestation of rats, water bugs, you name it. And I'm sick of it already. Not for me, because I'm covered. But for the people that are around me, they are suffering.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hamid, you're over time. Could you wrap it up if you can? Next
I'm
30
done.
seconds.
I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
the fact that you gave me the chance to speak.
Thank
May I
you.
just ask a question first? Thank you so much for speaking today. What building in Seward Park Extension has the scaffolding with the wires?
They both do.
Okay, so both of them.
Yeah, they both
Okay.
do. And yeah, we're talking about 154 Broome and
654 Essex.
yeah, well, 64-66 Essex Street. Remember, block 351, lot 1, okay? And for some reason, 62 Essex is not included in that. But
Okay.
I live on that block.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Y'all
Ms.
have a
Hamid.
great day now.
Thanks, you too. Okay, Chair, that concludes our public comments portion. And we will now proceed with the regular calendar. The first order of business is a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. Do I have a motion? Member Wright? Who moved? I'm sorry.
I move.
Thank you. Thank you, Member Wright. Seconded by?
Gavin.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Thank you so much. Chair, do you wish to make any remarks? Okay. Thank you. Madam CEO, do you wish to make any remarks before we proceed?
I do, thank you so much. I just wanted to give a brief update on our ERAP and rental arrears. As of May 31st, 2024, our tenant arrears totaled $456 million. NYCHA has submitted ERAP payments to OTDA, payment requests to OTDA on behalf of 29,944 households, totaling $160 million. We've received from OTDA 157 and change dollars for 26,817 tenants. And ERAP funds have already been applied to 25,017 residents, totaling $147 million. And we continue to receive those payments from OTDA and apply them to tenant accounts. I also wanted to quickly just touch base on the Section 8 waiting list. As you may recall, or as you may have heard in the news, our application period was Monday, June 3rd, 2024 through Sunday, June 9th. There were 8,000 people in the waiting room just before the application opened at midnight. And there were 31,000 users in the system within the first couple of minutes. We received 633,000 applications online. And the deadline for paper applications is coming up on June 28th, 2024. As of June 18th, we've received 2,420 paper applications for scanning. As you may recall, a lottery will be conducted to select 200,000 people out of the 633,000 people. And those 200,000 people will be placed on the Section 8 waiting list. We anticipate that the waiting list will be established by August 1st, and we will first continue to pull people off of the current waiting list, and then we will move to the new waiting list. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Just an extraordinary achievement by the IT folks and all of the folks who worked on it. That's quite amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was IT, it was the Section 8 group, it was legal, it was really a collaborative effort.
And I just want to add that demand really comes from the really unprecedented housing crisis that we're in. And the most recent vacancy survey showing, 1.4% vacancy, the lowest in 50 years. And for really affordable apartments, it's less than 1%. So the work that NYCHA is doing to expand affordable options to 200,000 New Yorkers is significant, as well as the work it continues to do to support its existing residents who have a level of affordability. It just shows how important NYCHA is.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam CEO. We now will go to a report section prior to the calendared items. A report on operations update by Eva Tremble, our COO.
Good morning, board members. I'm Eva Trimble, Chief Operating Officer. I'm here to provide a brief update on a couple of operations initiatives. First, we will go to a roundup of our heating season this past year.
Has the heating season ended?
Yes. A new heating season has begun though, just not our responsibility.
It took me a year, but I figured this out.
Yeah.
That works. My master in detail.
First, just as a reminder, our Heating Management Services Department provides all heating related services. It's a tremendous team of just over 700 full-time personnel. We have over 900 boilers, 1,700 distribution systems, and over 1,500 hot water systems that we maintain. And again, heating season is the end of October to the end of May. Next slide. For this year's heating season, we continue to see improvement in all of our performance indicators. The number of outages dropped 11% this year. And what's really incredible about that overall number is that within that, the number of planned outages increased. So we do planned outages to do our preventative maintenance program or corrective maintenance initiative. And so that's us taking down a system in order to make improvements. So even with our improvements, we had an overall decrease in the number of outages. And with that, we also saw an 11% decrease in the outage response time, an average of 7 hours as opposed to 8 hours. We're well under the HUD agreement mandate of 12 hours and the citywide standard of 24 hours. In addition, our total number of outages over 12 hours this year decreased, and for the first time since signing the HUD agreement, we had no outages that lasted over 48 hours this season, which is a tremendous accomplishment. Next slide.
Could I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just go back 1 second. So when in the top bars there, when we say no heat or hot water, 23, whatever it is, 23, 24. Oh, yeah, right, sorry. Okay. This part I didn't figure out. When we say no heat or hot water, but this includes planned outages, I assume that when we've got a planned outage, we don't leave people without heat or hot water. We have a mobile boiler or some other combination.
It depends. So in some cases, this is a case of an outage. So if there's no hot water, there's sometimes heat. If there's heat, there's sometimes no hot water. Sometimes there's one or the other. But yeah, there are instances where we do have to take down the service in order to do the work. During heat season, we try to keep that to any days that are over 55. And so you'll see actually on the next slide, a breakdown of planned versus unplanned outages by heat and hot water. And the unplanned outages by hot water you see is increased. And the reason that is because sometimes we take advantage when the temperature is over 55 degrees to do work on a system. And we're focused on maybe the hot water side, but there's no heat requirement when it's over 55 degrees, so there would be no kind of partnered heat outage, but there is a hot water outage to do work on the system. So those unfortunately are unplanned outages because we're taking advantage of temperature as we see them. In order for it to be a planned outage, we have to give 48 hours notice to the residents.
Got it.
So sometimes we have an increase in the unplanned outages.
And just to clarify your question, Jamie, if it's planned, they still just don't have heat or hot water.
That's correct. Most of that occurs outside of the heating season. In some cases, we're able to do our overhaul on one boiler at a time. We do have redundancy, as you've seen, we'll have maybe 5 or 6 boilers in the heating plant. We can work on 2 and still provide heat with the other 3.
Sorry.
Yes.
So, I mean, those are pretty extraordinary improvements year over year.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. It's right here, so it's not. I was just saying that the improvements it's pretty extraordinary improvement year over year. I mean, what would you attribute it to? And just how do you continue to make that type of improvement going forward?
Thank you. I think there's 2 main drivers here. The first is the investment that we're doing in the off-season on the equipment and on the overhaul process. So we're spending just over $20 million a year on equipment upgrades. And that's just through our capital budget. We do operational upgrades throughout the year. But about $20 million a year in capital to replace vacuum tanks or valves or whatever is needed. And we identify that through our summer overhaul process, which we've tightened up. We review our overhaul metrics every Wednesday morning with the heat team, so that focus on what are the plants that are having the most trouble, what is needed next year to take them off that list of the most troubled sites. So we go site by site. The second is we invested in significant staffing for the heating department in order to arrange to our neighborhood model. So the staff are coordinating directly with the properties. We've invested in additional heating plant technicians and managers to oversee that and stay on top of it.
Thank you.
Those investments over the past few years have paid off, and definitely concerned about being able to keep up those investments in the next few years.
First question's heard.
Just teeing up our next few budget meetings. Okay, yes.
Hi, so I noticed that in the graphic there that you have a life expectancy of 20 to 25 years. And that, I'm assuming, is with the new boilers that are being put in place. And now, what percentage is that compared to the other boilers that we still have to improve on? Now, I understand that there's an issue because we need funding in order to get the other ones going. But what percentage exactly is that compared to the entire portfolio of boilers?
So that life expectancy is both of a new boiler and of the old boilers. I think there's a pretty standard life expectancy. Our average age of our current boilers is 26. So for the most part, we are over the life expectancy.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Next slide. So next, I wanted to share some updates on our maintenance work orders and our maintenance work. This productivity is really the day-to-day experience of our residents waiting for that initial maintenance request. When they call the CCC, the first responder is a maintenance worker to hopefully fix the situation or diagnose the more complex repair and transfer it to skilled trades. Over the past year, we've seen a significant improvement in our response time. Our average response time for maintenance work orders is now 6.2 days. And as you can see from the graph, or maybe you can't see because it's really, really small, that's down from almost 15 days last year. Our work order reform efforts are starting to pay off, and we see that in the numbers. Particularly, what work order reform did was not just help decentralize trades and improve the response time, it was really about improving the work that's performed when a maintenance or skilled trades person showed up. So one of the ways we measure the productivity and the success of that program is work getting done at the time of the visit, and how often do we have to sequence to someone else. So as of May 2023, we saw 76.9% of maintenance work orders closed with work done. And that's a really significant marker, and it's 5.8% improved from last year. Obviously, May just recently ended, so we're waiting to see the numbers for this year, but I'm confident that we've continued to increase. We can see that in our skilled trades numbers as well. The other piece that's really aiding this is, starting in 2024, we're now required to do 100% apartment inspections. And previous years, we were only doing 50% of apartment inspections. So it is a significant increase in our workload. I'm happy to report that we're not quite halfway through the year, but we've already done 57% of our apartment inspections. So we're ahead of schedule. We've done 85,000 apartment inspections. One of the things we're seeing from this is an increase in our overall number of work orders. So our overall backlog or numbers have increased, because when we're getting into the apartments, we're seeing the conditions, and we are creating work orders to respond to that. So in some cases, the maintenance worker is able to make the repairs right then and there, but in some cases, we do need to sequence it because they're just there for an inspection. They may not have the right parts or the equipment, or they may need a skilled trades. So this is generating more work orders, but again, for us, work orders is actually a good thing. We're not looking to decrease it. It's data, it's information on what's actually happening in the apartments and what the needs are of our residents.
Excuse me.
Yes.
With the work orders, now, I know we're closing them and you're saying they're generating new work orders. By that you mean the child tickets, or are we talking about completely new work orders?
Very good and detailed question. It depends on the type of repair. In some cases, they may be child to the inspection. In some cases, the maintenance worker will be creating all new work orders. And so these are work orders that we're creating on behalf of the resident. The resident doesn't have to call CCC to get it done. We're taking those next steps to get those repairs done.
So this number depicts that as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So on the skilled trade side, as I said, we're seeing those improvements too. Similar to the impact of the annual inspections, the Inspire inspections are also creating additional workload for us. Again, this is all good workload. It's things that we need to understand about what's going on in the apartment. But we've already seen the work order backlog increase by over 18,000 due to the ongoing HUD Inspire inspections. Almost 6,600 of those work orders are specifically related to electrical. The Inspire requires GCFI outlets in certain locations, and that is an incredible demand. That requires an electrician. Anything grounded requires the electricians to work on. So we are trying to work through that demand right now. But just recently, beginning of this month, we did another round of reorganization in order to improve our efficiency, and that involved moving over 100 painters from a centralized team and decentralizing them into the properties, into the boroughs, in order to better adjust some of these conditions. So we're looking forward to that. One of the areas where I think this is going to have a significant increase is in regards to lead and asbestos abatement work, where we have to relocate the residents into hotels while that work's getting done. And usually to bring them back after the abatement requires a round of skilled trade work, whether it's the painters to finish the painting job, or carpenters to reinstall cabinets, or to do bathtub fixtures. And sometimes residents, you may hear complaints of this, are stuck in the hotels longer than expected because we're waiting for skilled trades to be able to come in and do those final touches. With this reallocation of painters and other skilled trades to the neighborhoods, we're hoping to be able to decrease that time and ensure that residents who are relocated are returned to their homes on time as scheduled. And finally, as I mentioned on Inspire, we've been doing a whole new round of communications in order for residents to understand the new rules that come with Inspire and the new practices. So we've had a round of communications we hope to improve the resident experience when it comes to Inspire. It is a more heavily focused inspection on in-unit issues, and so it requires residents to open their home to the HUD inspector, so we do more notification. We only get about 10 days notice to do this. We don't always know which apartments until even closer, but we've been doing email blasts to residents, more flyering, and working with the Department of Communications to really improve that communication so residents understand and know what to expect from the Inspire. And with that, I'm happy to answer any other questions.
So I recall a couple of years back, I forgot exactly who it was that came up with this wonderful idea about being able to do multiple tickets in one particular unit at a time. And I remember that there was a little difficulty in the beginning, but then it started to kind of take hold. Are we still at the local level following that particular policy of doing multiple tickets in one unit so that that resident will not have to spend many more days waiting for other repairs to be done?
So where that can happen is with the maintenance worker. So when a maintenance worker comes to an apartment, we did make changes on their handholds so they can see every open work order that's in that unit. Amazingly, that was not a functionality that previously existed. So they should be able to see everything that's open for the maintenance craft and take care of that. Otherwise, if there are open work orders that maybe require specific skilled trade craft, obviously we need that skilled trade to come and do that. But as part of the work order reform efforts and that repairs to schedule slip that the residents now get, right, the maintenance worker is supposed to ensure that as they look around the apartment, they are opening all relevant skilled trades tickets and marking that on the slip when they hand it to the resident to speak with their planner to then the planner is also supposed to look at everything open and schedule everything when they're on the phone with the resident.
So now they are able to assess the situation in the apartment
Yes.
and then have someone provide a ticket to get that work done. They don't have to wait for.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
And the role of the planner too, anytime you can call your planner at any time and speak with your neighborhood planner and they can see everything open in the apartment and schedule all of that for you at once.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Eva, thank you, that's great, and the progress is incredible.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Eva. We will now proceed to the calendar items 1 through 12. Pauline.
I thought I was finished already.
No.
Sorry. Good morning, I'm Arlene Ornstein, Director for Risk Management. The first item requests the board's approval to award the authority's liability insurance program policies to 12 insurers as noted in the resolution. The total annual program premium will be $6,784,721. The program becomes effective August 1st of this year and continues through July 31st of 2025. The recommended program maintains total insurance limits of $100 million per occurrence and in the aggregate for general, automobile, and employee benefits liability. Similar to the expiring program, this program is subject to $5 million self-insured retentions per occurrence and the authority's quota share claim participation of 50% of the first $20 million of insurance coverage. The program is paid through the operating self-insurance fund. Are there any questions?
None. Thank you, Arlene.
Thank you.
Item 2, Patty.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Patty Ross. I'm the CIO here at NESCA. I'm going to be presenting item 2 for your consideration, which is a request to ratify NYCHA's agreement with Cablevision Lightpath for the procurement of internet circuits, maintenance services, and support. The agreement with Cablevision is for $5 million, beginning April 19, 2024, and continuing through April 18, 2029. It's based on the terms and conditions of the New York City Office of Technology and Innovation's Master Services Agreement. Under this agreement, Cablevision provides necessary data and voice circuits for maintenance services and support for increasing data and voice needs. Some examples of the way these circuits support the business operations include circuits between the Long Island City Data Center and Microsoft Azure Cloud, which supports NYCHA's virtual desktop environment that's used to access various resources remotely. The circuit between Oracle's cloud infrastructure that allows critical applications like Maximo for work orders and Siebel for resident case management, and there are a variety of other ways that we leverage these services to support operations as well. The services are total approximately $4,375,260 for 5 years, and with a contingency of 12.49%, that takes the total ceiling not to exceed to $5 million. Through negotiated renewal of the participation agreement, we obtain the lowest price services through Cablevision's Master Services Agreement, and Cablevision is committed for Section 3 under the other economic opportunities to provide one position for an entry-level technician for 40 hours per week throughout the life of the agreement. Happy to answer any questions.
There are no questions, just a comment from the corporate secretary. The contingency was corrected to 14.28 from 12.49 to make the math accurate.
Apologies. Thank you for the correction.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Items 3, 4, and 5, Carolina.
Good morning, board members. My name is Carolina Paru. I am the director of the Lead Hazard Control Department, and I am presenting on item 3, 4, and 5 today. Item 3 is requesting authorization to approve a ratification for a contract capacity increase to Atenica Environmental Services for lead-based paint XRF inspection services. The increase to the not-to-exceed amount is $3 million, which is needed to fund the continued provisions of services during the extended 12-month term. This item is currently pending submission for Section 3 hiring plan. Items 4 and 5 are requesting authorization to approve a ratification for 2 related contract capacity increases for lead-based paint abatement services in occupied and unoccupied apartments. Each contract has an increase to the not-to-exceed amount of $50 million, which is needed to fund the continued provisions of services during the remainder of the initial 2-year term and the first 1-year renewal option term. Item 4 is for abatement unlimited for a total projected labor hours of 100,800 with 25,200 Section 3 labor hours. Item 5 is for AGD Contracting Corp. For a total projected labor hours of 65,000 with 16,250 Section 3 labor hours. Please let me know if you have any questions.
And Carolina, as you said on our briefing, both are due to accelerating additional inspections by 100 a week, I think you said.
Both of them are due to accelerating abatements, and we're aiming to abate at least 120 units weekly.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Items 6, 7, and 8, Anthony Luciano.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Luciano. I'm the Operations Administrator for Bronx Property Management. I'm here to present items number 6 through 8 on behalf of Ms. Gatson, to the Vice President of Bronx Property Management. Item 6 is for CSI Security and Electric Inc., DBA Sentinel Security Integration. Authorization is requested towards this IDIQ contract, CSI Security and Electric Inc., for layered access control and intercom system repair and maintenance. This IDIQ contract also provides for 2 1-year renewals options to exercise at the authority's sole discretion. This is citywide for all boroughs, Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. The requested not to exceed amount is for $10 million. Item number 7 is for Interface Cable Assemblies and Service Corp. Authorization is requested towards the IDIQ contract, Interface Cable Assemblies and Service Corporations for layered access control and intercom system repair and maintenance. This IDIQ contract also provides for 2 one-year renewals, option to be exercised at the authority's sole discretion. This is a city-wide for all boroughs, Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island. The requested not to exceed amount is also for $10 million. Item number 8 is for Waste Connections of New York, Inc. Authorization is requested to amend this requirement contract to Waste Connections for bulk garbage carting services, subsequently amend for an initial 2-year term with 1-year renewal, option extending the term by an additional 1-year term and nullifying a contract capacity increase to this requirement contract to Waste Connections to increase not to exceed amount in order to fund the continued provisions of service during the remainder of the extended 1-year term, which commenced on March 29, 2024, and continuing through March 28, 2025. This is for various developments in Manhattan North. The requested not to exceed amount is for $1,185,102.96.
Vice Chair? No? Okay. Thank you, Anthony. Great, thank you. Items 9 and 10, Michelle?
Thank you. Hello, board members. I'm here today to present the next 2 items, which are the next 2 of our comprehensive modernization projects for the Housing Authority. We're really excited for these projects to move forward. They're part of the Gowanus neighborhood rezoning and are funded primarily through city funds that were allocated as part of that rezoning. The first item is for the comprehensive modernization design-build agreement for Gowanus houses. We're seeking authorization to award a contract to Mega Technico Joint Venture Incorporated for $148,729,582. The scope of work includes the abatement and remediation of lead-based paint, mold, and other hazardous materials, design and construction services, including the renovation of apartment kitchens and bathrooms, plumbing improvements, heating improvements, new ventilation system elements, and the cleaning of existing ductwork, electrical improvements, full elevator replacements, pest and waste management improvements, attic stock for our property management staff, environmental work and utility coordination, construction communication support, and the temporary relocation of residents during construction, primarily to hotels for shorter durations. We anticipate there to be 43,750 Section 3 labor hours as part of this contract. The second item is for the comprehensive modernization design-build agreement for Wyckoff Gardens. We're seeking authorization to award a contract in the amount of $68,260,000 to Mega Technico Joint Venture Incorporated. The scope of work includes the abatement and remediation of lead-based paint, mold, and other hazardous materials, design and construction services, including the full renovation of kitchens and bathrooms, plumbing improvements, and full kitchen replacement of their waste risers, new ventilation system elements and cleaning of existing ductwork, electrical improvements, pest and waste management improvements, attic stock for our property management staff, environmental work and utility coordination, construction communication support, the temporary relocation of residents during construction, also primarily to hotels for shorter durations, as well as the installation of a new door between the tenant association meeting room and computer lab to improve its functionality. We are anticipating 21,875 Section 3 labor hours as part of this contract. I'm happy to take any questions on these 2 large renovation projects.
Okay, there are none. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle, that's great.
Item 11, Jermaine?
board members. My name is Jermaine Francis. I'm the Deputy Program Director for ANC and Capital. I am here to request ratification of an amendment and contract capacity increase for the remaining additional terms as indicated in the resolution. The ratification was approved by the CPO on May 7, 2024 in order to start work ASAP due to deadlines indicated in the HUD monitoring agreement and NYCHA 2.0 waste management plan, which stipulates interior compactors work to be completed by the fourth quarter of 2025. The capacity we're requesting is $12 million increase, and this request increase for additional 1 year beyond the contract year extension. This has projected 5 Section 3 new hires. Does anyone have any question?
Hearing none. Thank you, Jermaine.
Thank you.
Item 12, Jeffrey.
Good morning, board members. I'm Jeffrey Lesnoy, Vice President and Controller of NYCHA, and here to present you resolution number 12. Authorization is requested to approve the issuance of the authority's fiscal year 2023 audited annual financial statements as recommended by the authority's Audit and Finance Committee. The authority issues a complete set of audited annual financial statements comprised of statements of net position, the related statements of revenue, expenses, and changes in net position, and the statement of cash flows, and the related notes to the financial statements. In addition, it includes management's discussion and analysis, MD&A, which is a narrative overview of the authority's financial activities. Management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these financial statements. I'm pleased to say that Deloitte issued an unmodified opinion that the authority's basic financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects. I will now highlight some of the major drivers to the 2023 financial results. First, pollution remediation obligations, namely lead paint. As XRF test continues, an increase in positive lead findings from 35% of apartments to 43% of apartments through May 24 testing, which caused an increase of $754 million of expenses reflected as a special item on the statement of revenues and expenses. Pollution remediation obligation liability increased from $3.8 billion in 2022 to $4.4 billion in 2023, largely due to this increase in positive lead results. Second highlight is Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which our CEO referenced before, and related rent collections. In 2022, we accrued for large ERAP collections expected to be received in 2023, and this increased 2022 operating revenues. We actually collected $124 million of rent collections through the ERAP program in 2023, and that's up to close to $158 million as of now. Excluding ERAP collections, we collected approximately $900 million of rent in 2023, which was about a 4% net increase in rent collections over 2022. This is despite the fact that we converted 5,200 units of PACT over to third-party developers. So we're driving in the right direction with our rent collections. Despite large ERAP collections in 2023, we'll see on the statement of operating revenues that operating revenues have decreased by $86 million to $976 million. This is a function of the accrual that we made in 2022 in revenues. But excluding the impact of 2022 ERAP accruals, 2023 operating revenues increased by $30 million or 3%. A couple of other statistics on the statement of revenues. Operating expenses increased by $453 million, 9.5%, to $5.2 billion. Included within operating expenses are rent for leased dwellings, our Section 8 program, which increased by $211 million. However, this expense increase was largely offset by a $258 million increase in Section 8 housing choice voucher subsidy. General administrative and maintenance and operations expenses combined to $207 million increase over 2022, which $92 million represents gross wage increases, which were accrued in 2023 but paid for in 2024. Well, much of the remainder relates to just inflationary expense growth. Other post-employment benefits, OPEB expense, increased by 21 million due to a change in the discount rate assumption. Depreciation expense increased by 33 million as investments in building improvements have continued to rise. Partially offsetting the above expense increases utility costs, which declined by 38 million in 2023. We move on to non-operating revenues, which grew by 419 million, or 13%, to 3.6 billion. This increase is largely due to subsidies and grants. And the leader of that is the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Subsidy, which, as I indicated, increased by 250 million, offsetting the expense growth. We also had a public housing subsidy increase of $112 million for the year, moving our public housing subsidy up to $1.3 billion. Investment income is 16 million higher in 2023 due to higher interest rates in depository accounts. There was a $17 million net loss on real estate transactions in 2023, primarily due to the allowance for uncollectible accounts provided for on certain loans and notes. The positive change in fair value of investments on the bond portfolio was $19 million in 2023, in contrast to a $42 million loss in 2022, as midterm interest rates declined in 2023 and previous mark-to-market losses were recovered. Interest expense is fairly constant at 52 million. The debt portfolio has fixed interest rates. Capital contributions of 1.1 billion versus 806 million in 2022, up by 287 million. The largest increases were from the Federal Public Housing Capital Fund, up by 184 million, and through the city and state funding of $186 million. Moving on to the statement of net position changes. Total cash and investments of 1,187 million, which was down by 97 million from 2022, largely due to growing expenses and timing differences in reimbursements from certain grantors. Accounts receivable net decreased by 154 million, 214 million reduction from FEMA, $96 million decrease in tenant receivables, offset by $81 million increase from the city. The decrease in the tenants receivable is primarily a result of the EBRAP funds received during 2023. Capital assets increased by 693 million to 10.4 billion due to continued growth in building improvements. And OPEB liability increased by 210 million, largely due to a decrease in discount rate from 4.31% to 4% in 2023. With that, I have covered noteworthy topics and transactions affecting the authority's financial results for the year ending December 31st, 2023. Authorization is now requested to approve the issuance of the authority's 2023 audited financial statements. Can I take any questions? Thank you.
There are none. Thank you, Jeffrey. Chair, 12 items are presented for board approval. Board may have a motion to approve the 12 items.
So moved. Second.
So moved, Chair. Seconded by Vice Chair. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Thank you. Board, being that all matters before you today have been addressed, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? So moved. Okay. Seconded by?
I'll second.
Take Member Miller. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Thank you. The recorded end time is 11:11. Thank you all. The next night board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, July 31st, 2024 at 10 a.m. See you all then.
Madam
Take
Secretary?
care. Bye-bye.